There's two rods. This one for use indoor, and a friend of mine in America makes this. His name is Floyd Dean, and you can Google him and you can see Floyd Dean use this thing on YouTube or something. And it's very useful tool to use indoors to improve your casting. And I've never seen anything else like this anywhere in the world. And the other one is this one that was first, to my knowledge anyway, this was first developed by Lee Wolf and Joan Wolf as an indoor casting rod to practice and I think initially to demonstrate casting. And the Wolf one you can still buy, but it's not as good as this one. This is Echo, Tim Rajev, micro practice rod. So this is Steve Rajev's brother, and he knows how to cast, and he sells this product. Made in China, I don't doubt. So you probably can get cheaper from China direct, I reckon. Anyway, just let. Oh, and the other thing I think is really useful for indoor casting is this. I don't know if you know what this one is in your country. This is toilet roll. I'll show you in a minute. Firstly, this thing of Floyd Dean. He has a clear tube so we can see the ball inside. He has a red end so that the end of the stick is really visible. So in fly casting, mostly what we look at is the loop, the shape of the line. That's why this is thick and it's yellow. It's very easy for you to see, and then it's easy for you to make the adjustments and make the loop different. With the fly line here, if you practice your casting outside with olive green fly line, with olive green trees, it's not very difficult, but it's more difficult to improve your casting. I think perhaps to a point where if fly lines were invisible, it would be very difficult to teach you to improve your casting. Casting would be okay, but it would be very difficult for you to improve your casting if you can't see the shape of the loop. So the more visible the line, the better. If you practice outside, make sure you get the orange line. Indoor, this is bright yellow and red leader, so it's visible and very thick, so you can't not see the line, and you learn faster. So the shape of the loop always comes from the path the rod tip makes. If the rod tip makes a big arc, half a circle, the loop makes a big arc. If the rod tip goes very straight line path, it makes the narrow loop. So Floyd has put a red end on this, so it's very obvious to you where the end goes. So the idea is, and he's put a rubber band down here for some other stuff. So the idea is that the normal casting stroke, this you have to send the ball to the top, so we hear one click when the ball hits the top. And then when the ball falls down from gravity, it hits the bottom, and I hear another click. That for me is the signal to go the other direction. So this is an audible device. No good if you're deaf. I guess you can feel it in your hand, yes. That's a good point. I never thought about that actually. Yeah, you can definitely, although I suspect, yeah, if you grip it really tight, the feeling's not so obvious. If you've got sensitive touch, like I have, and some people last night had, then you get the feeling of the ball hit the end and hit the bottom. So casting is supposed to be like this. For a short cast, we have a short distance here, and of course this one can go longer and longer and longer, this distance. But if we start off short cast may be from here to the start of the lettering in the water. For me, this would be like this. So this is a small space, not a big space, and quick timing, very fast. Back, forward, back, forward, back, forward. This is good casting, I think. If I had the normal rod, this would be okay. A beginner might do this, where the ball all the time stays at the top. At the top, it's still at the top, now it's at the bottom. A beginner might do this, where it's still at the end of the stick, it hasn't fallen down. A beginner might do this. where it's still at the top. It has to go click, 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 click. So if we want to make a longer cast now, we have to do everything in a bigger space and we have to wait much longer. So if I pull this down here, if I do the same space here, the ball doesn't hit the top. It only goes halfway. So I have to move this in a bigger space. Now from here to here. This is just like fly casting. If you want to cast further, you must move longer. Bigger space. So now that this is a longer distance, I have to also go harder to make it go further. And longer distance, I have to wait longer for the ball to come down. So the timing is different. Also, because of the different angle, the ball comes very slowly down this way instead of comes very quickly down. So for this length, the casting stroke for me is maybe halfway up the letters, a bit further maybe. Symmetrical sound. So for the long cast, way down here for the ball, this won't work. It just won't work. It has to be from here to here. It's very important how you finish the cast. You don't want the finish to be like this. It has to be, not like this. It has to be like this. Very stationary here. So if this is red, I can line it up with your eyes. It's dead still, not going. If you do this with the fly rod, it doesn't work for the line, it makes too much slack. So there are many, many things with this that can improve your casting indoors, not outside, inside. The other thing to me that's very important, if you want to be a very good caster, especially distance caster, it's very important that this ball stays on the bottom for a long time. Stays on the bottom, still on the bottom, still on the bottom, still on the bottom, and now we send the ball to the top. Still on the bottom, still on the bottom, still at the bottom, stay, go. It's very important that the ball goes at the end, not ready, set, go. This is too soon to send the ball to the top. We leave it, poof, for distance casting. And this is why the tube is clear. Thanks, Tom. That'd be embarrassing. I just gave this rod to Ian and then I go on breaking them. So, the rubber band, this is for teaching the left hand in casting, the haul. When we pull on the line hand, the fly goes faster. So the rubber band is pull, and then the rubber band comes back. Pull, rubber band comes back. Pull, rubber band comes back. So this is a very useful tool for learning the double haul. So, I'm going to leave this one here. And people can practice with this. This is a little bit tight, but it will work. I think it's the temperature maybe here. Has anyone got any questions? What's that? Matt said, what if you break it? I don't think you can break it, Matt. If you break it, maybe you can break it. If you break it, put it down and walk away. Hope someone else thinks that they break it. So the indoor rod. This thing was developed by Lee Wolf, and then later I think this one's been a refinement of that, and it's more useful. This the differences, the Lee Wolf one, or the Joan Wolf now. The Joan Wolf rod is much stiffer than this, and the line is not so durable. The whole fly line for the Wolf one is like this, and it's not useful. It's not heavy enough, and it doesn't feel like a normal rod. this thing feels like a normal rod when you cast it this way and this way and this way and this way. So I just want to show you some casting errors. When people are new to fly fishing, they cast like this. And this is too strong in the hand. If I hold this very tight, jerk, 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 jerk. And this is too big an arc. The rod tip goes up and down like the top of an ink loop. No good for casting. And the loop is very, very wide. The idea is the rod tip goes straight line, straight line, straight line this way, and then straight line this way. So straight line, straight line, straight line. And that makes the loop very, very narrow. This is what we want for fly casting. One of the really common faults for beginners, even when they get good at the straight line cast, is too jerky and they wait too long, and the wind pushes the line and the gravity drops the line down and there's no tension anymore. So even though the beginner might make this very good loop, if they wait too long, it kicks and drops. So we have to learn the correct timing to go faster, the right tempo so that it goes faster, so that you feel all the time connected to the weight of the line. So Joan Wolfe has a casting exercise. She calls this circles, eights and straights. And I think this is a really good practice drill, even with the big rod, not just the indoor rod, any rod. Circles, so I draw an anti-clockwise circle around the group of people here. Circle. If I draw a circle, I have constant connection with the line. It doesn't matter about the wind anymore. I'm the one in the driving seat. This is like a little tow truck here. The silver piece at the end is like a tow truck, and it tows the line constant speed. But a circle's no good for casting. It's good for circles. Maybe at the Olympics, this rhythm gymnastics or something. So now this circle here gets turned into an 8, figure 8. Not vertical figure 8, but horizontal figure 8. So circles, and I'm going to turn this into an 8. Circles, 8s. But this big, short, big, fat 8's no good either. So now we get the 8 longer and longer and longer, and skinnier and skinnier and skinnier until the 8 becomes straight. So circles, 8s, short, fat 8s, longer 8s, skinny 8s, longer and skinnier until the 8 becomes straight. A line. You're smart to take up with your dad. Unlike your mum who's with your dad.
Happy. Lucky my mum's not here.
Isn't she here? Oh.
She's going doing.
Don't tell her I said that. So here we go.
Promises.
It's a Tasmanian joke. Mark forgives me. Here we go. Circles. 8s. Short, fat, longer and skinnier, and longer and skinnier, and longer and skinnier until the 8 becomes straight. And I think that's a really simple way for you to get constant connection, constant tension, and straight line path. If you try to do it like this, if someone teaches you fly casting like this, I think you'll be a long time learning it. But from circles, 8s, longer and skinnier, I think you come there very quickly to learn how to throw this line straight. Another very simple way to teach people to cast the line straight is to turn a circle into an oval. So we do a circle to start with, we get longer and skinnier until it's a long flat oval. And this too will make a good cast. So circles, longer and skinnier. This is a very simple way to keep tension and make the thing go out straight. Otherwise, this is what you risk as a beginner to fly fishing. Maybe two hands like this. It's not, but it will like this. circles, oval. It's really simple, really simple. So, some of the other problems the beginner has, they use their wrist too much here. So if you look at the gap here, there's no gap, then there's gap. No gap, and gap. No gap, gap. And of course, this makes the big loop. It doesn't work. So if we get the toilet paper, it's not used, it's new.
He's not going to wipe his butt.
This is good practice with the proper rod, big rod too. You get some toilet paper. You won't do this too many times. Takes a long time. You very quickly learn to hold it in there.
2 years later.
Yeah. 2 casts later, young lady. And now, all of a sudden, very nice loops. Take this out, and guess what happens? Too much. So you guys and girls, next time you practice your casting, I want you to go to the bathroom and take some toilet paper. And if you can keep this in here, this is much better control. Whoops. So
that's not just for the indoor rod, right?
no,
For the
for
normal
every
rod
rod.
as well.
Yeah.
So Peter, what's the difference between that and then the bands they used to sell to tie it onto your wrist?
Yeah, so Tim says, what's the difference between this and the bands they sell? And some people use a scarf. I know fishing guides, sometimes in my country, they're not so clever as the people in your country. So the beginner does this, away, closed, open, closed. This catches the graphs every time back here, hits the water at the front, and doesn't go out. This is the most common problem with beginning fly fishing. So the fishing guide, he gets the scarf, or as Tim says, they used to sell things that went on here, and this gets tied up here. Very tight. After a while, your arm drops off. So how about this? Doesn't hit the grass, makes a better loop, but robot. This is awful. Yeah, so those things, I agree, they stop the wrist movement, but this angle is too straight with your this is too straight. It has to be cocked. So this can't be here like this. It's much better to be here like this. And in truth, much bigger toilet roll, bigger one, maybe this big. This can stay here. Would be better angle to make the cast. This is a better casting angle here, in here for the wrist, than in here. This is too small, really. So get yourself a big roll of toilet paper, and the fact that the rod is laid back against the angle of your forearm is much better for casting than if it is here, where this becomes very robotic. This is not good for casting. Much better to be back like this. And for those of you that have played golf too, in golf, they hold it like this somehow. They come back and look at the angle here between this and forearm. This is the angle you need. In golf, you cannot play golf if this is straight. Weird. In golf, it has to be like this. So in casting, it has to be like this. And then you shut at the end. You don't start to shut at the start. You shut at the end, just like this. You keep the ball on the bottom of the plunger until the end. You don't shut this at the start. If I ask you to throw something like this, if we come back, our wrist is cocked like this. You can't throw anything if it's like this. This is too straight here. You can't throw from this. You have to be like this. if you want to throw this a short distance, it starts here, finishes here. Just like this first shot with the stick, the click stick. If you want to throw this a longer distance, you start here, and a longer distance you start here. But always the wrist is cocked. And the wrist, if you watch, it stays cocked, and at the end, that's exactly where I was aiming. At the end, you make the throw. You can't do this. I want everyone to go back with their arm like this. Copy me, like this, with your throwing arm. Go back. Cock your wrist like this. Now come forward with your wrist. No, not with your arm, just wrist. Now try and throw. This is weird. It is like an emu. That's good, it is like an emu. It's got to be like this. What's this one then? If this is like an emu, what's this one?
Like a sloth.
Yeah?
It's like a sloth.
So, what else can we do with the indoor rod? I think you can do every other cast. No different to the outdoor rod. So the roll cast. Back, up, stop. Wait. Don't shut, and shut. So this is a roll cast. Backwards, up and stop. And you wait, and late, rotate.
What?
Don't rotate. Not yet, just here. So this is a roll cast. A snake roll cast. This is a change of direction cast. If you're fishing out here and we want to fish over here, we do a circle first and then we throw in the new direction. So this is a very, very good way to change the angle. If I just do a circle first in the direction I want to go, this way, this is a very good way to change the angle of the cast. If we want to go this way, we do a circle in the direction we want to go, and we go this way. So this is called a snake roll cast. Another cast we can do with this is called a snap T. Again, direction change cast from here to here. We snap the tip, we turn around, and we go in this direction. All these casts you can learn more easily with a very short stick and a very, very bright coloured line, so you can see where the line goes in here. The curve cast. There are many times in fly fishing, many times in real fishing, where we don't want the line to go straight. We want the line to be curved around an object, in the rock in the river, whatever. So, lots of casts, we can learn to curve around the object. And I think all these curve casts are much more easily learnt with the small rod and the bright line. Now this cast, to curve this around this way, the line is going around this way, and this is how I want to teach you. I put my finger like it's the rod. If I come back and touch my ear, I want everyone to do this. Come back and touch your ear and just rotate. No shot put. No, forget shot put. This is just spin. Just spin like this. Not with your whole arm. Your wrist shouldn't go forward much. It's just like you're trying to flick a frisbee or something off your fingertip. It's not hard. What is hard is to go straight line, curve. That's what's hard. Straight line, curve. Another way to do this, I guess, to teach the curve, if I draw a circle, constant circle, not so fast, right speed, and if I stop just here, isn't that going to curve around? So if I need it a little bit longer, I have to curve a little bit harder, a little bit faster, too slow. Same thing. The guy with the I've never done this before. The guy that makes this stick, his name is Floyd Dean. And Floyd can show you 28 different casts with a fly rod, which is pretty impressive. He has one cast he calls a Christmas tree cast. And I thought, what's this Christmas tree cast? So I asked him, Floyd, can you show me the Christmas tree cast? And he does this with his rod. He puts his rod in the air, and he just does this, just a little circle. Whoops, there's more of the line thing. But when he swings it around, the line forms a cone around his body, and it looks like a Christmas tree, and it doesn't tangle. So let me see if I can do the Floyd Dean Christmas tree. It's got to be faster. Anyway, the fly line, of course, is going to go where the rod goes. So if I draw a circle, it goes in a circle. If I go up and down, it goes up and down. It has to follow. It comes out the end. So here's another way I've seen to teach casting to people. Really good way to teach beginners and fun and kids. If you had a lot of kids and you had some of these rods, there's nothing wrong with this. If I pick on Yukong. If Yukong was the instructor and I was the student, I could be one instructor and have maybe 5 or 6 students in a circle. I'd say to them, go and pick up a rod and copy me. So they all go and pick up their fishing rod. And I say, copy me. One guy's like this. And I say, look, I'm holding the line. Another guy's got his hand everywhere. I say, look, my hand's in my pocket, you know, so I just want you to copy me. This is relaxed. So if I ask to draw clockwise circles around Yukong, clockwise. This is easy enough. Stop. Anti-clockwise. This is fine. If I say up, down, turn around, up, down, turn around. Now go backwards the other way. Now clockwise circle. Now if I get this clockwise circle above my head, and now just point at Yukong, the line goes dead straight. And this is a really easy way to teach beginners casting. If you have children, you should teach them with the indoor rod. And as long as you point, as long as you point the finish, it does that. Now this is another cast. Easier to learn with the indoor rod because the line is thick, but very useful when you're fishing. Sometimes when you're fishing, maybe you have a tangle out here, maybe the fly is not suitable, you want to change the fly, and it's very easy to get back like this. So this is a very useful cast. Oops. My son Lachlan, when he was 7 years old, he could catch this in his mouth. How many hooks did you get in the face? Bit of wool, mate. So this is a good way to get the fly back. It's also good if I'm fishing over here and the fish rises over here. It comes back this way, or over this way, or over this way. So I taught Lachlan to do this cast simply. Rod tip on the ground, to eye level, and back down. I think I can teach all of you that. If you have this straight, eye level, up to here, and back down. It comes back this way. I think that's all I want to show you about practicing indoor. Think about finding an indoor rod. This one you can